Hi, everybody. I'm Bobby.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
All right, we are Support and Resistance, bringing you the latest in curated news, and we're going to be diving deep into the latest charts as well. So, again, just a quick recap on what our channel is about. We're here to bring the objective news, the objective analysis, and bring you the latest on those fronts. So, before we dive into the news, should we do our shout outs real quick? Because I have a shout out that I want to give, and I'm not sure if you guys want to start with that or if you want to go into the fundamentals.
Actually, no. How about we? I do have a question for you guys. I actually brought this question up earlier this week on Twitter, and I think Brian probably missed it, but I think this will be a great start off. So there was an article that came out, and the article was about. Actually, I take it back. It wasn't an article at all. It was a discussion about, I heard through another channel, can't say what that channel was, but they were saying that we have to come back and test 3,100 to confirm a bottom in the crypto market before we can go higher. And so I tweeted that out. Bobby, you responded. But the question is, and what I always want to know, especially from a technical analysis perspective, do we have to, in fact, come all the way back down to 3,100 to create that double bottom?
No. No, I mean, for the people that are still thinking that we're in a overall bearish market, they probably feel like it needs to go back down there. But the thing is, if it goes back down there and hits the 3,100 again, and it pops back up to 4,000, are they going to say the same thing again? Well, it's got to go back to 3,100 to confirm the low. Now, if you look on the weekly chart, and we've talked about it before, there is a 200-week moving average. It's just above the market. I put out a video yesterday singing knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door because it was right on that resistance again. I think it needs to get above there. We need to see some volume. And I think there's some price levels that once it gets above a certain level, then that 3,100 becomes really solid support. So right now it's kind of shaky support. So yeah, I mean, it could go back down there very easily. It's a crypto market. So, but when it comes to, does it have to? I vote no. How about you, Bobby?
I agree. I mean, it's kind of what we've said before. The market doesn't have to do any one thing, right? And just because we've seen previously, double bottoms happening in the past, it's not something that you can just trade blindly on, right? And so, I agree that 200-week moving average has to confirm as support. We need to see retail volumes coming back into the market. But, as we've been discussing for a while now on the weekly charts, things are looking very positive. We're about to close, what is it, like five out of the last 6 weeks maybe on a positive.
6 out of 7.
6 out of 7, even better.
Yep.
And, we're making those higher lows in the market. And I don't see any reason why the market has to retest the 3,100 for it to reconfirm again that is the absolute bottom. Because also, if you take into account that 200-week moving average on the weekly charts, there were I think there were either 4 or 5 separate weekly candles that confirmed the 200-week moving average as support. So I don't see any reason why we need to go down.
So let me ask you, what is the 200-day moving average level right now? Where does that sit? What number?
The 200-day, I'm not.
I mean, I'm sorry. Whatever you got, 200-week or 200.
The 200-week should be sitting around 3,400.
Yeah,
around that range. It depends on what pricing source you're using, but it should be right around that level.
Yeah, because if it goes back and retests the 3,100 that they're talking about, it would be beyond that exponential moving average on the weekly chart. Which, if it breaks below that, it's going to go a lot further than 3,100.
Right.
I mean, I would think. So I don't know why they say that number. And then also when I show you a chart later on the broad market, I'll kind of explain on why that 3,100 doesn't matter. But I'll show you that. I'll show you that later when we look at charts.
The reason why they're bringing up the $3,100 is just because they want to see a classic double bounce, off the lows and reconfirming as support. But like what Brian was saying, if we break through the $3,400 range, which is where the 200-week moving average is sitting at. That's where I'm going to be putting on my bear mask. I told you guys that last week. So
Gotcha.
Well, hopefully you're not going to be wearing that for a while.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Cool. Well, if you guys want to, I can just go ahead and jump into the news of the week, talk about a few of the articles. Then we can talk about some of the fundamental news that might impact the market. And then from there, go into our shout outs. I'm going to go backwards because the most exciting news just happened. I think everybody's pretty excited about the fact that Jack is now going to find himself 3 of the top talented engineers probably in the space and going to put them to work on making Bitcoin absolutely amazing. So I think that's great news. I just put in the comments before we got started. The new company is SQ Crypto on Twitter. So if you go follow SQ Crypto on Twitter, you should. He launched that yesterday. Within 24 hours, they're already at 14.9 thousand followers already. I think everybody's very interested in what Jack's going to be doing.
Yeah, and I looked at the article, and one thing is they have the option to be paid in Bitcoin. I think that would be kind of a unique setup. I would actually like to work out like a 50-50. Start me out 50-50, and then wean me into 100% over the next couple of years. I would take that kind of deal for sure.
Well, you know who took that kind of a deal already? Olaf Carson-Wee, when he worked at Coinbase, when he was the first employee at Coinbase. By the way, Olaf Carson-Wee now runs Polychain Capital, probably one of the biggest hedge funds out there. He was paid all in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
before.
But he probably has a lot of other stuff sitting behind to kind of offset that, right?
I'm sure he does.
I'm talking about the really smart, struggling software engineer that wants to go work for Jack. Give me 50-50.
Hey, Jack, you hear that? Got to pay Brian 50-50, man.
Yeah, well, first I'd have to learn how to be a developer first.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And I'd need to lose about 20 years on myself to handle that kind of risk.
So second to that is the news about the 2 large retailers that have now decided to accept Bitcoin. And what I find funny about this is back in the day, everyone was all about nobody's going to accept Bitcoin. Nobody's taking Bitcoin. And here we are, fast forward 10 years, and you got 2 of the largest. One's in Switzerland, and the other one is Avnet. Both of them, large retailers, are now saying they're going to accept Bitcoin for payment. So what do you guys think about that?
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sure you don't know Switzerland's monetary policies, or taxes or anything like that. Is it a taxable event in Switzerland because here in the States, if we buy something, it's a taxable event. We haven't really changed legislation there yet. Is legislation there that way? I don't know. I don't know if you know or.
Listen, I'm sure it is, and this is the problem I've told everybody. Until we can get some legislation or legislation around taxes, who's going to be motivated to use crypto to pay for anything? Now, there are some people out there that say, oh, I use crypto. My question to those people that are using crypto, are you actually keeping track of all the crypto you use? Because you got to report it.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. So
no, I mean that's one of the things that has kept me from doing that. I've been using it as the gold standard, the value hold. Yeah. But I haven't used it for purchases yet, which I would if that legislation would change for sure. Because my whole goal is to flip over to the other side.
Yeah. So that I found that to be interesting. And again, that's significant because we're starting to see more and more people accept Bitcoin. Because one of the knocks that people say in the industry is, oh, no one's accepting. It's too slow. It's too expensive to use it. Nobody. Well, these folks are saying they're going to accept it. Now, the real question comes is when they give reports saying that they are actually processing a lot of Bitcoin through their companies, like Overstock. So if they do, then that'll be a different story.
So could I set up a wallet in Switzerland with Bitcoin, purchase some stuff, and have it shipped here without having to do the taxable event?
I don't know about all that.
Well, I'm thinking if you could do that and it was legal, then that would put the pressure on our government to say, hey, let's change the legislation here so we bring the money back home.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna find a way to tax you on that event. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So the last big sort of article I had was about Visa, right? So our good friends at Visa, the ones that have always been given a lot of pushback, they've now opened a crypto division, which a lot of people weren't talking about this all week, but now they are opening a crypto division. So I think what we're going to see is slowly but surely, a lot of the players all over the place will make their shift back to Bitcoin. And I saw this happening, I think, toward the end of 2017, going into 2018. It went from all the altcoins, everyone's attitude shifted back to Bitcoin. And I think we're going to see the same thing happen with a lot of the industry players, governments, everybody is ultimately going to make the shift back to Bitcoin. And that's where we're going to find ourselves.
That's one of those news items that I didn't really see. And I think that's bigger news than what it really is. I mean, like, I would think I would have heard it today, because that's kind of like a hidden kind of thing. Visa's got a crypto division. Are you kidding me?
Well, so, this is why we have the crypto curator on.
No, that's awesome, because I did not see that at all.
Yeah,
because I just did a Q&A with Niffler, and it's posted on his site. But one of the things I mentioned was back in the internet days, when Ford, it was me personally, I was watching TV and I saw Ford.com on one of their commercials on TV, and I was like, what the heck is that? Because nobody really knew what really knew what www was and what websites were. And now everybody's got a website. So what I'm thinking is, when you hear stories like Visa and all these coming in, as more of the mainstream goes, what's this crypto thing? And the next thing you know, everybody's going to own some sort of crypto. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah, this article was from Invest in Blockchain, and just here's a little bit of it. It said that Visa would like to hire a candidate to outline a crypto strategy and roadmap, and working with the Visa research team, develop new products. It said the job listing referred to the impact of crypto on payments. This highly motivated individual will be responsible for managing the product roadmap and collaborating with key stakeholders across. We all will also work in close collaboration with Visa research team to develop new products that deliver value to fintechs and Visa. This person should anticipate how cryptocurrencies could impact payments. So they're following the same line with JP Morgan and everybody else, IBM, the whole line, they're all coming in.
And they'll get paid in crypto.
They get paid in crypto. And here's just some quick deals on the fundamentals, and then we can get to the shout outs. So here's what I find interesting as I look at all the news all week long. Lightning is striking with nodes doubling in 3 months. So people aren't paying attention to Lightning, but again, this is going to sneak up on everybody. One day we didn't have a way to buy coffee with Bitcoin. Tomorrow you can do micropayments all over the place using Lightning networks. The nodes themselves have doubled in 3 months. And now all of a sudden it's all about staking. Now I don't know how much you guys know about staking, but I'll get your feedback in. But listen to this: over $2 billion have been staked on blockchains, Cosmos, Dash, and EOS. And while this is a drop in the bucket in some aspects, it's also a testament that money talks and bullshit walks. And as Ron said and Jerry Maguire, show me the money, baby. That's where we're looking at.
Show me the money. I actually stake Pivx, and I stake Lisk, and I'm hopefully soon to be Loki as soon as I get a node built. So those are the three that I stake. Now, nowhere near the $2 billion number that you're saying, but I do have it in there mainly as a learning experience, because I really want to learn how it all works.
Wow. I watched a video talking about passive income by staking, and I just haven't paid much attention to staking. I'm busy curating news, but apparently that's like the thing to do. So I'm like, I might have to learn how to stake something.
Hey, it beats the 0% that you're getting on your savings accounts in your fiat world.
Yeah.
And Brian, this is the whole point of the Bitcoin Hex project by Richard Hart, right? It's going to be the first time deposit or certificate of deposit, whatever you want to call it, on the blockchain, where if you hold Bitcoin, for every 1 Bitcoin you hold, you're going to receive 10,000 Bitcoin Hex. And
if I get to hold my private key, I'm on board.
Yeah, and so it's a great way to test out different financial products on the blockchain system, right? So
yeah,
I agree.
Oh, cool.
And I tell you, speaking of money, okay, and it's right now flowing all over the place, right? It's flowing under the sea. putting treasures on the blockchain. It's making donuts for the first time crypto investors, and bison burgers is what I like to call it. They're in. So here, check out these numbers. PO8, which is a company that's in the Bahamas, they just raised $1 million. You've got this company called Donut that helps first-time investors get into crypto. They just raised $1.8 million. And you've got Bison, which is this new platform, and this is the platform that helps with the whole staking thing. They just got $5.25 million from Galaxy Digital. Don't listen to anybody that tells you things aren't happening in this space. It's happening, and it's happening in ways that we have no idea. What do you think is going to happen when this some $7 million gets actually put to work? There's going to be a lot created from that and a lot of momentum. We won't see this probably until another 15 months. But in 15 months, everyone's going to be raving, wondering what happened. But if we come back to this time, we're going to see, here it was. The money was coming in. It's crazy.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of guys that I talk to at work, and one of the things they really want is an easy way to buy a basket of coins. And I saw that Donut article, and they're starting with beginner investors, and their whole deal is to get a basket of a basket investment. So I sent them the articles. I'm like, there you go. You want baskets? You got baskets.
There you go.
Hopefully Donut, puts the money to good use and gets a good working product. That'd be awesome.
Cool,
What's the difference between that setup and like Coinbase's offerings and some of the other exchanges where they offer investors ability to contribute into like more of like a fund-like structure?
I think it's probably the difference between beginner investors and angel investors. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, one of the quotes that they had from the article, it says, "We believe most people will have the majority of their wealth stored in digital assets within the next decade." And that's significant. That could be anything from cryptocurrencies to fractional ownership of art or owning a piece of unique land and virtual reality. Our mission is to empower everyone to become an investor in the future. So that's sort of what they're planning. If you listen to Bill Barheit on the Bull Flag Group's YouTube channel, he talked about this, and Abra is another player that's doing the exact same thing. Bill Barheit is talking about tokenizing almost anything you can name and putting it on the Abra app. Pay attention, people. One day we're going to wake up, and again, like I said, we're all going to be surprised, but we watched it happen real time.
Nice.
Good. Well, I think we can jump into the shout-outs now.
Go, Bobby.
Paul, I think you have an exciting one.
I do
Why don't we
have
start with that?
I'll kick it off.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah.
I can get up. So if you haven't heard of this, and they're not the only ones. There's a couple others out there, but I came across these guys and I was just blown away by them. It's called Unstoppable Domains. And actually, I think they probably could do a little branding touch up, and I hope they don't get mad about me saying this. But the truth is, when you're Unstoppable Domains, you might be a person who says, you know what, I don't care if I have a domain that can't be stopped. That's just not sort of for me. But really, the power of what they're doing is that they're removing that string of characters that you have to send people money with crypto, and they're giving you a domain name. So now you can actually send money to the cryptocurator.zl, and it comes right to me. So there you go, baby.
I like
Nice.
it. I like it.
Unstoppable
Nice.
Domains. You can find them at Unstoppable Domains. I think it's unstoppabledomains.com. And on Twitter, you can follow them at Unstoppable Domains. Check them out. I think they're working on some exciting stuff.
Awesome.
Oh,
Brian,
awesome.
do you want to go next?
Yeah. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Ooh, pretty colors.
Well, that's for later. No, I'm shouting out Crown's Crypto Cave. I've been following him for the last couple of months. Super great guy. Really knows his stuff when it comes to trading. And this is just his site. I just want to show you. I mean, he's got 12,000 subscribers already over the last. I think he's been doing it for a year. He really knows his stuff. It's really basically for traders. He talks a lot about it, near-term stuff. So, you're trading in and out, day traders, not holding very long. So that's what it tailors to. So I highly recommend him. I know he's got a whole bunch of different modules that he uses for learning technical analysis and trading and those kind of things. I can't say anything about that because I haven't used it because I've been doing this for so long. I don't need that, but I'm sure it's pretty quality stuff. If it's anything like his video show that he has on every day. He's actually in Helsinki, Finland. So when he's up in the morning way before we are. So he's getting this stuff out to you pretty much in the morning. I watch him at like 10:30 Eastern time. I think he comes on most of the time. So definitely good. And one other thing is, if I can find it here, the where is it? There we go. He's got a Discord channel too. He has a lot of these. He's got a lot of videos out here that talks about trading psychology, and he has them in different parts. And I highly recommend you go out and watch these videos. They're free because me and him kind of think alike. If people if people ask, "Hey, what do I do to become a better trader?" I say, read psychology books, and he's right on that same wavelength with me. So I really like that. Super great guy. If you want to join his Discord, there's plenty of information out there, but also the whole site that he does with all the videos, he's top notch. Check him out.
Sweet.
Great. I will definitely check that out.
Cool.
So my shout out, the reason why I'm all dapper looking is because I just got back from an interview with an exciting prospective employer. Seed CX is the company name, and they're a institutional cryptocurrency exchange, targeting obviously the institutional business, hedge fund business. And it was really kind of exciting to learn more about them, learn more about their kind of product offerings, and their space is absolutely beautiful, you guys. I mean, it's almost like walking in. I was a little bit awestruck just because I wasn't expecting to kind of walk into such a creative, open atmosphere. I mean, it was like walking into like a Google campus.
Oh wow!
I thought I was gonna see like dogs running around, you know, like bring your pets to work day or something. But yeah, it was really cool. The environment was, you know, it's right in downtown Chicago, right in the center of the financial district, and it's this kind of open loft creative space. And I got to meet Edward and Brian, who are both the co-founders, CEOs, and presidents of the company, and Maurice Goodman, who is a risk and operational specialist there as well. And yeah, it was a tough interview. You know, it was one of those interviews where you know, you get hit with a couple hard questions and you kind of fumble around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get that out of your head.
Yeah.
Like the questions of, if you were an animal riding a tricycle, how many streets would you know? Just like weird questions like that.
I wish it was a question like that, because then I have an excuse. Being someone who's worked in the financial service industry for 15 years, you think I would have been able to clearly explain like what a swap is, right? And to be honest, I've been so, you know, like Brian, I think, can attest this a little bit. When you're neck deep in charts all day and all you're thinking about is cryptos, or all I'm thinking about is cryptos, I've lost my quick one-liners. You know what I mean? On like what
yeah. Well, also when you're dealing with like, if you deal with swaps every day and you're just doing it, it's different when you just do it versus like explaining exactly what it is. You know what I mean?
No, this is what was so bad. I couldn't even come up with a general explanation. So I just want to give my shout out is to Seed CX, and I just want to thank them for enduring 1 hour with me. But
that's
anyway,
awesome.
no, but honestly, it's a really exciting company. They're bringing a lot of really interesting innovations. I think something that I learned today, which you guys should know about, is, you know, we've seen all these exchange hacks, right? And issues with like the whole centralized model setup, and not just within cryptos, but also like Facebook and you know, social media and other exchanges as well that have had data hacking issues. What's really exciting about Seed CX is not only do they have an off-chain settlement structure, but they have an on-chain settlement structure as well. So as people, you know, as you're settling trades on the exchange, they get settled in-house, but then those transactions also get sent to the blockchain, which is really cool. That way, when as a trader, or if you're an investor wanting to kind of follow your funds and how they're being kind of moved, you can actually monitor it on the blockchain, which I think is super exciting. So,
yeah, I actually came across an article when you had messaged us after you were on your way back, and I forgot that you had it. I looked up the company and just noticed that there's a press release that came out today. CTX Singapore's Hydra X partners with them. Partnership expands institutional user base and asset offerings on Hydra X Sigma platform. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool.
That was very cool.
Nice.
Great.
All right. Shout outs. That was awesome.
That was great. All right. So now that the shout outs out of the way, I don't know. Did you guys have any kind of little lesson you wanted to sort of go over? Because if not, we can go right into the curated TA stuff.
No.
Okay.
The lesson's going to be in the charts.
Perfect. Well, I'm not going to touch on a whole bunch of this because I want to get right to the charts with you guys. But in the curated section, one of the things I found that was interesting is this is the first time in 5, almost 6 weeks that the entire week has been green. Day over day has been green, and week over week has been green all the way up into today. So tomorrow will be the defining factor to see if it is. So let me just mention a few of the headlines. I won't go through all of them, but this is give us some sense of where we thought we were at the beginning of the week and where we are now. So we started off the week, a couple of the folks that do TA for some of the publications like Cointelegraph, News BTC, Crypto Potato. This is some of the things they're saying. Bitcoin price breakout scheduled for August, and that was according to Tom Lee, our perma bull. Now, we'll see if that happens. Recent Bitcoin rallies have coincided with fresh BitMEX quarterly futures, and that'll be interesting to hear you guys' take if you think that could have a play into why we have seen this recent rally. Was it BitMEX or not? Nick Chong from News BTC was talking about Bitcoin following goals long-term chart, and if history rhymes, Bitcoin could revisit 20,000 by early 2021. That's a long time to look at. What do you guys think about that as far as on Monday?
The Tommy Lee thing, what did he say?
So Tom Lee, he said that price breakout was scheduled for August.
Okay, so he's assuming that prices are going to maintain these higher levels. So the moving average will, because I remember him saying, he tweeted something about a 200-day moving average or something.
Yeah, this is what he said. He said if Bitcoin holds above 4,000, it'll cross its 200-day moving average by August. So I think the outside window is 5 to 6 months before Bitcoin starts to look technically like it's back in a bull market.
Yeah. So he's just looking at the moving average coming down as some of those other prices come off the board, and eventually they'll intersect around August if the prices maintain this level. I got you. I see what you're saying. He's using maths. Lots of maths.
Well, I think that's going to be an interesting area because we talked about that in our last video, where you're going to see a lot of traders who want to go short. They're going to be piling on positions right around that level as well. So that's
they're going to get hosed.
I hope so. But the reason why he's picking that time frame as well is because if you look back at the 2014-2015 market cycle, that was approximately an 18-month, from top to bottom back to recovery.
Yep.
So he's following that same kind of timeline, assuming that we replicate, that 18-month kind of period, bear market to recovery. That should put us in right around August. So
gotcha.
That makes sense.
So on Tuesday, Yuval Gov talked about Bitcoin will try to avoid the mini bearish triangle consolidation around 3950. Cole Peterson was talking about could the emerging markets be playing a role in the Bitcoin bear market, which we probably can say no. Martin Young was talking about will Bitcoin break higher in next move based on a 12-month trend. And some of the other folks had a few other things. One of them that I found interesting was that Bitcoin's current market cycle will last until May of 2020. And that's what a think tank said. And of course, the one that was a little bit out there said that the number of active Bitcoin addresses continue to grow while the price remains in limbo. So that was on Tuesday. I don't know what you guys thought you could think about any of those, but none of them really. I mean, the bearish triangle thing, I don't know what that was around 3950. If that means anything to you guys.
Do you know what timestamp he was looking at? As far as is
Yep.
it the daily chart or is it the?
I would probably guess an hour or 4 hour.
That was Yuval, and Yuval always talks on the short term, so 4 hours. 4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah.
Nothing right now.
I mean, for me, I look at mostly like the daily and above, so I don't really have any comment on that.
So, but by Wednesday, everything was looking a lot better. Bitcoin consolidation could end soon. Which direction? We know that it now went up. Bitcoin will soon see bull cross. I take that back. Completely wipe all that off. That was that was last week. Where we were this week was analysts were saying 4,000 is a critical level that Bitcoin must defend, or else significant losses could be imminent. Another person said that this is why Bitcoin's price will surge higher this year. Bitcoin price pounds into bull market could surge. And this is the kicker. This is the one that I think Brian responded to. It said that Bitcoin price pounds in the bull market and could surge to $400,000. Yeah, that was a little out there. And then, of course, Nick Chong said Bitcoin's staring down a barrel, and that it needs to break 4,200. So, I mean, 400,000, 42. I mean, these numbers are just getting crazy again sometimes.
Yeah, I think I tweeted, like, I can make any chart make it look like it's going to go to $1 million. I could throw out some Fibonacci spirals and some circles and all this stuff and look at it all. Look at it, it's going to $1 million. I could do that too.
Right.
So when they use TA for those kind of things, it's just I don't know. I have a hard time swallowing that. But
yeah.
but if they have a lot more of strong fundamental reasons on why $1 million or 300,000 or whatever makes sense in an economic fashion within the realm of a society, then yeah, I could get that. But using a TA pattern. Right. I mean, I don't know. Tough for me. Yeah. But some people might like it, but just, do your own homework.
Tom Lee has done a really good job at that at Fundstrat, producing that kind of fundamental economic research, combining that with kind of a TA perspective on how Bitcoin can get to, 300,000, $1 million into the future. But
yeah. Like if this pattern works, here's some of the backbone of why it would work. It would go that way. That makes sense. Yeah.
And so today the news again has been, because we have been bullish all week long, the conversations around that. Now here's the kicker, and this will take you guys into your charts. Of course, the 4,000 is the magical number right now. Everyone's looking at it, and it's actually between 4,000 and 4,200 based on what all the other TA guys from the publications are saying. One's wondering if it's going to surpass 4,000, and if it does, will it hold there this time? Because it's done it several times before. And with Bitcoin being near 4,100, which it was earlier today before it pulled back again, it was saying that is the bottom in? And that's the other question that you guys can talk about. So will we stay above 4,000? Is the bottom actually in? And of course, one person said we could crash by 50%, which that was a shocker. So I'll turn it over to you guys. You guys can jump into your charts and stuff and try and make some sense out of all that nonsense.
Yeah, I can start, Bobby. But first, I have a really, really good indicator that everyone should be watching, because this is like the indicator. Are you ready?
Yep.
The Wall Street Journal said Bitcoin is in the dumps, spreading gloom over the crypto world. If that's not a bullish signal, I don't know what is. Because that right there is better than any TA I could do. They're saying that is 300,000 right there. But I don't know. I'm just messing around. But I saw that today, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Wall Street Journal is going to put that out. Talk about contrarian views.
Right. That's what I was going to say. If you're a contrarian investor, it's a good time to bet. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pull up a chart here. I'm just gonna look at the broad move of the market here. This is Bitcoin. This is a daily chart. One thing that I've been looking at, and I always do, is the Fibonacci levels, because that's kind of what I like to do. But I got a few of them on here, and the first one was this low here at 30, or it went up to 41.90 and made a new high. Because one thing is, you got the high here, you got a lower high, lower high, lower high, but then it said, okay, now we made a newer high, even above this previous high. So that was a start. So that's the start right there. So I took the first retracement down here to the 3,600 low, and the 61.8% level is this 39.86. Market came up, worked right to this point, and found some resistance, which is right around that 61 or that 3,900 or pretty close to 4,000. Worked its way back down, came back up. Just the other day, it broke back above this 61.8% level. But as you kind of notice, I'm going to put my line there, that we had 2 days that closed above it, but today we haven't closed yet, so hopefully it'll get above it, because I think we got another 45 minutes before the actual daily close, so we get another candle. But if we get a third day above that, it's called filtering in the market. Like on a daily chart, I like if I want to see a resistance level break to the upside, I like to see 3 consecutive days close above that line to help bring support to that line. But right now, with today's move to the downside, it kind of took that out of play. But we still got 45 minutes, so you never know. But unfortunately, the momentum, when you look at the ADX, is really low. So I don't see a lot of impetus to push us that way. But you never know what could come into the market. But the other 2 Fibonacci lines is this low to this high. It came back down and touched the 61.8% level there as support, which kind of creates this lighter trend line that I got playing there. And then this last 61.8% was the low here on the test of that trend line, and the high just the other day. And the 61.8% level is at 3,800, which comes in relatively close to this trend line. So I like this 3,800 to, this previous high of really all the way up to the 4,190, which made it before. And I think that's what you're talking about, Paul. People are talking about this 4,000 to 4,200 range. I think we can work up into this range a little bit, and as long as we hold this trend line here, and keep the buyers on that trench, keeping that support in the market, I think we'll work it a little way. Sort of like here, let me draw it real quick. Sort of like just like a quick little triangle here. This is the area I think we're going to trade in, over the next week or two, unless we start to get some more momentum in the market, which is that 3,800 to 4,100 range. So this whole area is just kind of the area to continue to watch. Now, of course, we're going to watch the indicators to see if it breaks to the downside or to the upside. But even if it breaks to the downside, you're most likely going to hit this trend line from when the low happened back in December, and also again in February, that you're still well above that 3,400 that they're talking about. Or no, they're talking about 3,100. This trend line is going to correlate a little bit more along the lines with that moving average that we talked about on the weekly chart. So if we do break here, we could drop down to 3,500, but that level should really hold support. My concern would be a break of this trend line to get the bears get back going again. So really, but I still like this general market, even though the momentum is not as strong. We still got that pattern of bullishness in the market, and I like that. And I'm still sticking with my cautiously optimistic. So I'm not like going all in here, but I do like it because I've bought here and I've bought here, and I'm still riding it, and I haven't sold yet because there's nothing really telling me to do that. So I really don't want to get out of the market if it's not going to say we're bearish yet. So I just wanted to give a quick look at the broad move of the market. Still got a little bit of bullishness there. I just wish the momentum would start to kick up and we start to get some volume in this. I don't know what news item or something that comes out that starts kicking people in the pants to buy some more. But right now, as long as we're buying on dips and we're buying near that trend line, I'm staying long.
Yep. So, I see on your chart. I really like this chart, by the way, Brian.
Thank you.
I see an ascending triangle kind of being formed as well. Off of that kind of that second dip, like right there. Yep.
Right on which one? Right here?
Yeah. So how you have that trend line kind of going up.
Right here.
That diagonal line. Yeah. It's kind of forming an ascending triangle. So,
okay, that's what you're saying.
I wouldn't. Again, that's just another pattern that's pretty bullish to play if you like playing patterns. And I like the idea of actually Bitcoin reconfirming and re-hitting that $4,000 mark. I don't see that as a bad thing. And even though in this low kind of volume environment that we're in, the bears have not been able to capitalize on that and to drive
and
things down.
That's a good point, because one of the things I was looking at was the 61.8% level right here. And for us to be on low volume and to push above that level,
Yep.
Is actually a good sign. It's sort of like a hidden bullishness that's in the market, even though the momentum is just not there. So when momentum does kick in, it's for sure going to bring a nice little support to the market. So exactly. I do like your point there. That makes sense. But the other thing on here is this. It's actually a volume zone oscillator. It's a pretty badass indicator. But we can go into that another time. It would take a whole show just to explain it. It's ran by Paragon Tools. So if you actually join the Digital Den and subscribe to them, these are indicators that you pay for, and they're really, really top notch. And I'll have to get the permission to explain that to people. But I like that indicator, so if I can explain it one day, I sure will, because it's really, really good when it comes to finding divergences and buying and selling signals. But we'll get into that another time, hopefully. But I don't want to talk about it now because I don't want to get in trouble.
That's a teaser right there.
But I don't want to get in trouble for talking about it without asking permission. So
right.
So I just want to throw it out there, because people are probably go like, "What the heck is that thing in the middle of his chart?" So I just want to say that it's the volume zone oscillator by Paragon Tools. So if you look at them out on TradingView, I'm sure you can follow them and talk to them.
We have a pretty good question out there as well, Brian.
Yeah,
might be kind of relevant. Ty's asking, how do you feel about, does TA become less accurate for smaller cap coins due to the lower trading volume, or do you think that has any impact on TA credibility?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Let me get off my screen here. I don't think so. And here, it's just that the smaller coins are just riskier because they have just less money in the actual pool. So there's more risk in them. But when it comes to applying TA techniques and indicators, they all work, even in the smaller time frames and even in smaller coins. It's just that when you do break out of a trend line or a Fibonacci line of some support and resistance of some sort, you could launch a lot quicker because it's such small volume. So if something breaks out of a trend line, and someone likes that move and they throw 2 Bitcoin at it and it's only got 5 Bitcoin total in the whole freaking thing, it's going to launch that thing up crazy. So that's the only thing you got to kind of worry about, is just the less amount of money that's in the pool. But no, TA works really well in all the markets. It's just measuring behavior of that fear and greed in the market. And there's fear and greed in small coins, just like there are in large coins.
Same thing.
You just got to watch the risk reward on the. Just be careful on the small coins. You got to really watch the risk there. Sorry, Bobby, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. It's like trading. Not, I wouldn't say like penny stocks, but those stocks that cost anywhere from like $2 to $10. I mean, TA works beautifully in those environments as well. There's a lot more volatile markets, but you can apply that the right approach in those markets. So from a volume size or a token size, a stock size, it doesn't really matter, I don't think.
Yep.
So should we hit up one of my charts, or?
Yeah. Flip up what you got.
Well, it's a little unfair because, I've been trying to prepare for this interview and doing all this other stuff. So those are my excuses. I'm coming up with excuses already. Let's see here. I thought maybe we could just hit up a quick support resistance across maybe a few coins real quick. Can you guys see my chart okay?
We can.
Great. Yep. So we're looking at the Ethereum daily chart. And again, anyone that's watching live right now, if you want to, if there's a particular coin or token you want us to show us, chart on, feel free to chime in and we'll try bringing it up. But anyway, this is the Ethereum.
I'll try to create a chart if while you're showing some stuff too. So
sure,
I can. Yep.
So this is the Ethereum daily. Obviously, everything is still pegged pretty closely to what Bitcoin is doing, especially as Bitcoin's struggling at this $4,000 mark. So, with the altcoins, you have to be really careful and sensitive as to where, you're placing your protection, so your stops. It's something that Brian and I stress every week as we're on these shows, is make sure you're trading with protection and making sure you're covering any downside risks, because you never know at the end of the day what could happen, right? So the Ethereum market is looking still bullish, even though momentum, the stochastic is kind of pointing down. It's rolling over to kind of neutral territory, hitting right around 50. You have RSI kind of pulling back to neutral territory as well. Ethereum is still printing bullish momentum on the PSAR indicator. So overall, what this is telling me is there's no real signs to sell yet. Ever since the market dropped back in February 24th, we've been trading inside this kind of sideways in this dumb zone area between $125 and $140. So you can equate this $140 line equivalent to the $4,000 Bitcoin line. So the way I would play, if you don't have any Ethereum positions right now, you want to see Ethereum, break through this resistance, this $140 with momentum and volume. And at the same time, you want to keep a close eye on what Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin breaks through 4,000, then it breaks through 4,100, you're going to see more confidence in the altcoin market, and you're going to start seeing these altcoins start to break through, some of these resistance levels. That's really been difficult to get out of. So again, you want to see $125 really hold for Ethereum. If Bitcoin were to capitulate down and Ethereum breaks through 125, $114 is guaranteed, as the next support test. And what's really scary with Ethereum is if $114 goes, $100 is definitely getting retested, because you can see back here there just isn't a whole lot of support that's been tested and proven on these charts. Ethereum really moved up pretty quickly in a short period of time. So the drawback to that is it can go down very quickly in a short period of time. So if $114 goes, $100 is definitely going to be tested. That's a very important psychological level for Ethereum. Personally, if I were long in Ethereum right now and $114 goes, I'd be completely out of the market and just kind of waiting for it to digest and see what happens, because $80 is not far away for Ethereum. So that is my support and resistance for that chart. Do we have any other requests on tokens yet?
I got XLM up. If you want, I can do that one.
Okay, sure. Actually, do you mind if I just go through XRP real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So XRP has been a very disappointing trade for me. I got in right around 30 cents, and I was playing this ascending triangle pattern right here. And this has been a pretty solid support line since January for XRP. And for me, I really need to see this hold. It's kind of like when we were looking at Brian's TA on Bitcoin, and he had that kind of diagonal support line going up for Bitcoin. This is a very similar chart pattern. And if XRP were to, you can see here it wicked down on today's candle, closing out a lot of stops. I got really lucky. It missed my stop by about 0.001 cents, whatever value that is. And but yeah, so what I want to see with XRP is this support line being held, and I want to see 33 cents to be retested, and I want to see it really break to the upside out of 33 cents, because if it does that, XRP has a pattern target to near 38 to 39 cents based on this ascending triangle. So that is my support and resistance for XRP. Brian, you want to?
No, that's nice.
Want to switch it over to you now?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Let me pop it over here.
And the reason I put an XLM there was because, I mean, there's been a lot of powerful news coming out about XLM recently, the partnership with IBM, what they're doing. And I just watched a video from Jesse Lund from IBM talking about what they're doing with XLM, making it possible to create the remittance market for banks and for cross-border transactions. Pretty exciting.
It's very exciting. I can't believe prices are not reacting to it, personally. I mean, I bought some XLM based on that news.
Well, actually, I mean, when you look at XLM, I think this is one of those coins that has a little bit of a technical bullish to it, and it's also got some fundamental bullish to it. So both of those together, this isn't a bad buy on this dip at all, because they have a lot going on, and so that'll bring investment. And then also technically the traders are out there and they're going to also buy it up. So you got both sides looking at this. I was just putting this chart together here. One of the things I was watching was, the break. We had the break of this trend line here that launched us up. At the time down here, the positive directional index was increasing as momentum was increasing on the ADX. At the time of breakout, as you can tell, there was a large green candle. I mean, it helps. So it kind of launched into this, above this trend line. Because, I mean, what I do on trend lines, and I've said this in the past, is you take the highest point of the trend line from the break, take the same distance as your objective. So if you're trading this, it would have came down, retested right here. But, if you would wait and watch the indicators, you'd have a nice little run and follow that trend to the downside. And your objective would have been down here. And now the same thing going this other direction. Actually, let me put you take the furthest point this direction here, and take that same distance on the break, and it's already probably hit it already. Pretty close, where you're getting up close to that first objective. But what I like to see is I'm taking this as that first leg since we got a break of this trend line, and then we're working on a move to the downside, which I mean, this is not perfect Elliott wave, but I just used it as an example of that we could be in an easy 3 to 5 wave, a 5 wave to the upside deal here. I'm watching this Fibonacci level here, which is pretty close to the breakout point. So if you're buying into this dip, the stop's going to be just underneath this level, just to kind of protect yourself. But because it's pretty close to where the break of the trend line is, which that's going to be support too. So anywhere in this range is going to be that area that should hold. So if you're buying into this dip, which some people already are, as you can see of the wick on the candle, that anywhere down in here is probably a good buy from a technical perspective, because even though that we've been dropping a little bit, momentum is still strong for the bulls. Until this crosses, I'm not too concerned with that. This indicator showed some hidden divergence in here, which is bullish going this direction. So I like the dip here on Stellar, not just from the technical reasons, but also for the fundamental that you guys brought up. So, and then another one real quick was IOST, I think it was, you said?
Yep, IOS. But the reason I brought that up is because I've been seeing it a lot on Twitter. I've seen it a couple times, some other conversations on different groups, and it just seems like a lot of people are starting to talk about it. IOST would be a comparable platform like EOS and Ethereum, and I don't know a lot about this project. I won't even pretend, but yeah, something to look at.
Yeah. I didn't have a chance to really chart this, but just looking at it quickly here, you had this break of the trend line. You got this nice little area of kind of an SR flip, kind of a support and resistance flip on this trend line. At the same time, you're starting to get a little bit of momentum starting to build to the upside here on this break. So with this still holding here on I mean, it dipped down, but it came back up this is a daily chart. So we get closing in another 30 minutes. So it's still closing above this trend line, which is good. At the time, momentum's hitting it a little bit. So I kind of like it just from a quick view of it. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it, but just looking at it, it broke this the 200 moving average here. Kind of broke that point, held there, and then this is the other 200, but not. I'd have to go back in history to kind of see what's going on those
Hey,
moving averages.
hey, Brian, this is essentially what we want to see Bitcoin do eventually. Is
Yeah,
break through that
exactly.
EMA 200, just like that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, and then get support on the dip back down.
Yep, yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, and from their website, it says IOST is an ultra fast, decentralized blockchain network based on the next generation consensus algorithm called Proof of Believability (POB). Led by a team of proven founders and backed by world-class investors, our mission is to be the underlying architecture for online services that meet the security and scalability needs of a decentralized economy. One thing that I don't like about their project, and again, I think it was Mike Dudas from The Block who brought this up, and it's sort of true, and I'm probably guilty of it in a lot of my stuff. On that reading on their website, they got a misspell in there. I mean, it says based on the next. It's like, who didn't catch that? Like, come on, guys, you got it. I don't know who did their copy, but I'll let them know.
You would catch that.
Yeah, my eyes jump at that. I'm like, what is that?
Right. No, that's good. So they're almost kind of like is it almost like an IOTA type of project in a way, but they're just targeting a different kind of segment of the industry?
The article I read said they're more in competition with EOS and Ethereum. So they're DApp, Tron. I mean, all of those that have dApps being built on them, I think that they're going to be in the same area.
Okay.
All right, cool. Cool.
Just real quick, I just want to show a Litecoin chart. That way we can round out the top 5 charts for the day.
Litecoin's the leader, baby.
All right. Let me know when I'm live.
Not that Litecoin is better. Litecoin moves first in the market, and then at least we've seen that over the last, many moons ago.
Your chart's live.
There we go.
So yeah, I mean, so Litecoin, obviously it's been in this ascending channel since early December. It's shown a lot of strength. It's following this kind of Elliott wave structure. It's showing a lot of resilience on this third wave. It's been hitting the top of this trend line multiple times, and it refuses to capitulate down. And personally, I'm not in Litecoin, and I'm really keen on getting in kind of on this lower level here, kind of retesting this 200-day moving average, which is sitting around $43. And, just based on how Litecoin is moving, I don't know if I'm going to get my price. So, but I'm going to be patient. What I would like to see is Litecoin, as Bitcoin kind of struggles with the $4,000 range. I really want to see Litecoin hold these EMAs. So we're looking at the 8-day, the 13-day, and the 21-day as being possible future retests, and I want to see those supports hold. If they do, I might be keen on getting in on a buy entry. Otherwise, I want to see the 200-day moving average down here, which is hitting close to the bottom of this descending channel as a key support. This could also be another buy-in entry if my indicators give me the signal. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as support and resistance. It's struggling right now at $60, but it's been in a great bull trend on a great run as stochastic kind of rolls back out of overbought territory, as well as the RSI. I'm still bullish on Litecoin, and I think it still has plenty more upside as long as Bitcoin kind of holds current levels. So that's cool. My Litecoin chart. Anything else?
I was trying to look at the Litecoin versus BTC, see if there's anything there, but I really don't see anything.
Yeah.
Because that's to the dollar, which is, if people are purchasing it straight from their fiat,
right.
That's the one to look at. I just wanted to see if there's any big major difference in the BTC, because if BTC starts to rally, Litecoin will drop on this chart, but I just don't see anything that's really remotely any good. So I'm not going to show it to you.
Oh, okay. I was about to bring it up. I won't.
I mean, yeah, you can bring it up if you got it. Yeah, throw it up there.
So yeah, I'm kind of seeing a similar kind of wave structure, right? So let's just draw the ascending channel real quick. And then let's draw the wave counts. So I see this is 1, 2, 3. Not really a fourth. I mean, it doesn't fit perfect, right?
No, that could be a 4.
That could be a 4. And then
it'd be a flat 4, an ABC structure flat.
Right.
Which would make sense because the second wave down was a little bit more straight down, and then consolidated versus consolidated sideways.
Right. So you see this kind of as like an A, B, and then C, right?
You lost me.
So this is kind of like the A, B, C structure that we're seeing, possibly.
No, I was looking at the ABC between the 3 and the 4, like a smaller one, like a different degree.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And this move here.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That's the consolidation I was thinking was the 4.
Okay.
And then 5 would go to the upside, but then you would just get an ABC correction, which makes sense because that matches up with your buy zone that you had on your other chart.
Yep. Yep. So I would expect Litecoin possibly have more of kind of a flat correction, like more of a flat ABC, just because it's been performing so long. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to see what happens with Bitcoin. But what's really interesting, Brian, looking at this is on the when you look at the fiat, it looks a lot more bullish, right? There's no on the PSAR, there's no hints of negative divergence happening at all. But versus the Bitcoin, you're starting to see a little bit of a negative momentum here. So,
but that's good for Bitcoin, though.
Right, right.
It gives a little bit of support to the Bitcoin market.
Right, right. That's true. So
another reason to be bullish.
So speaking of being bullish, looks like our friend Bobby won last week. Although I will say over the weekend we won because it did pop over 4,000, but on Monday it couldn't hold it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any whiskey, guys. Sorry, I'd be taking a shot right now.
So I wonder what we're thinking for next week.
I can show you. I'll just say real quick on my chart again. Let's see. Let me pull it back up since I lost it. There we go. I'm sticking with what I said on the chart here with the triangle. I think we're gonna be between that 3,800 and 4,100 kind of zone. Oh, I guess it would help if you could see it. There you go. When I drew the triangle earlier, so the 61.8% level at 3,800, and then the 4,100, which is kind of that previous high. That triangle is where I think it's going to be. That's my call over the next couple of days.
Cool.
Anybody else?
Paul, do you want to go?
You can stick your neck out there?
Yeah, I don't have any charts or anything like that. I just go on gut feeling. And again, it seems like that this pullback that we had, it's been good. And I think that because we've had this pullback and the way we've had this pullback, I don't know. I think again, I'm going to have to go with that. We're going to go well over 4,000 by Monday.
All right. I like your bullishness. Well, you won week 1, so.
Yeah, that was the other week.
I won half a little bit last time.
Yes, you did.
I got a half win.
Okay, so I guess my Bitcoin chart, what I want to see in the short term is I want to see, like I've been saying for a while now, I want to see the 61.8% level really hold at $3,920. If we hold that, I'm going to be with Paul that on Monday we're going to be through the $4,000 barrier, retesting near the 4,140. If we go below 3,920, I'm falling more in Brian's camp where I want to see 3,680 to 3,800 being retested. So that's where I'm at.
So when you guys say above 4,000, do you think it'll get above 4,100?
Yeah, it's tricky. I think it could. I think I'm just looking at a 10-day chart, and again, I'm no technical guy, right? I'm just looking and just throwing stuff. It's got to break back above 4. If it breaks back above 4,000, I say 41 is definitely in play.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, that's the next level of kind of resistance, right? Beyond 4,000. So I'm liking the fact that we're holding this 39.20. You know, a lot of people are calling this kind of a pullback, and I don't see this as being a pullback at all. I just see this as the market proving that $3,920 is support. Like, this is a beautiful thing to see right now. And
it's just noise.
Yeah.
That's just trading. Yeah.
So I think if we hold this through the weekend, Monday is probably a bit early, but I'm going to be bullish. But if we hold this through the weekend, I think we're going to retest near that 4,100.
I'm going to say, if we still have 20 minutes till the actual daily close, if Bitcoin closes at 39.87 or higher, I call 4,200 next week.
Whoa!
But it's got to close there. It hasn't closed there yet.
Right.
It's still underneath that. So if it closes underneath it, then I'm sticking to my range of 3,800 to 4,100.
But this is just next week. This is not a Monday call. Correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at next week.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, by Monday, who knows? Like I said, I learned last week. I mean,
Monday's too close.
Yeah, on the weekend it does its thing, but then during the week it just dies.
And plus, we're on Thursday night, so we have another whole day.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Very good.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Pretty good show.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions, or are we?
Yeah, I don't see anything in the chat, so I think we're
okay. So we're ready to wrap up, I think, huh? So, everyone, thanks again for watching Support and Resistance. I think we have outlined clearly, you know, from a fundamental news standpoint as well as technical standpoint, digging into the charts. What are the kind of the major supports right now supporting the markets? What are the major resistances? And we appreciate you watching. And again, feel free to comment below on what you'd like to see in the future. So thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace out. Thanks all.